All right, welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Senior here with you, and the Niners pick with the 11th overall selection in the 2025 NFL Draft is in. And the Niners are taking edge rusher out of Georgia, Mykel Williams. This is an interesting pick for a couple of reasons, and in the lead up to the draft, I had said, I think Mykel Williams is one of the 6 players who San Francisco could draft, especially given what general manager John Lynch said the other day. They wanted a defensive end who could set the edge, who could get to the quarterback, collapse the pocket, and be good against the run. And Mykel Williams has that potential, has that ability, and has that arsenal to his game. Now, personally, I would have gone with this college teammate at Georgia, Jalen Walker, because I like Jalen Walker's body a little bit. I like the positional versatility where he can be an edge rusher on obvious passing downs where he can pin his ears back and rush the QB, but also drop back in coverage and be a linebacker alongside Fred Warner. But the Niners didn't go with the tweener in Jalen Walker. They go with a pure edge rusher here in Mykel Williams, who has a ton of potential to succeed at the NFL level. He's only 20 years old. The amount of Georgia players who have gotten drafted highly over the last few years has been aplenty, and they've ended up being really good pro players. And Williams can continue to turn into an excellent player over time. He definitely needs to refine his pass rushing moves and add some pass rushing moves to his arsenal. But the size, speed dynamic is really fascinating. 6'5" and an eighth, 267 pounds. One of the concerns that a lot of people have, the lack of production last year at Georgia. He only had 5 sacks, but it's really important to note that all throughout the 2024 campaign, he was dealing with a left ankle injury, which hindered him. The scouting report on Williams, when you watch him, he can certainly make some wow plays. And he is insanely long. High-quality run stopper with great power and a strong bull rush. The physical skill set is certainly there. But will the pass rush production arrive? He does lack those aforementioned pass rushing moves, and at times, he can run into guys. So it's going to be very important for Robert Saleh and Chris Kocurek to develop Mykel Williams. Get him in the lab. And it's going to be important for Nick Bosa to aid the development of Mykel Williams as well. And I know that Chris Kocurek has come under fire from some people who cover the Niners and some broadcasters out there and fans who have said, what has Chris Kocurek done? He hasn't been able to do a lot with the likes of Drake Jackson and others. But how about how he's been able to maximize players like Charles Omenihu and Arden Key and Nick Bosa and Jordan Willis and and Cleveland Ferrell. Like, Chris Kocurek is one of the top defensive line coaches in the National Football League. And I imagine he's very excited to get his hands on a player like Mykel Williams. As far as that pass rushing productivity, you wonder that a player who's 6'5", 260, with huge hands, long arms at 34 3/8 inches, and a wingspan of 82 7/8, who at his pro day ran a 4.77 at nearly 270 pounds, and obviously the weight always changes between the combine and the pro day, only had 4.5 sacks in year 1, 4.5 sacks in year 2, and 5 sacks in year 3. So this is a little bit of a projection for San Francisco. They have missed on a lot of defensive linemen in the first round under John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, but you can certainly see why they're making this pick. Because Mykel Williams looks the part, has an NFL frame, arms of an anaconda. He uses that crazy length and raw strength to jar blockers and force through bodies. At the beginning of his NFL career, I think he's going to be able to win with the bull rush, but he's going to have to add some refined pass rushing moves because NFL offensive tackles are going to catch wind of that. He does have that promising bull rush. I like the swipe and the push-pull type of moves that he has. He is a violent player who, if you put a tight end up against him, He's going to run right through him. He's also a very loose, flexible athlete with really long strides to capture the corner. A lot of people will like this. He models his game after Myles Garrett, who's one of the top defensive ends in the history of football. He can close fast on the quarterback, especially when he has an open lane. And you think about this Niners defensive scheme, they run that wide 9. And so if Mykel Williams has some time to pick up steam and momentum and has that open lane, he's going to be able to use his power, his size, and his speed to win as a young player in this league. He served as a team captain for 4 games in 2024. Very strong character feedback from his head coach and Kirby Smart, who said he's very versatile for us in terms of what he does on the field, but there is no greater value than what he does in the locker room. He's a great leader for us. And the Niners, of course, value players who are good leaders and can fit in that locker room. And in watching Mykel Williams get selected, you can just see the size that he's going to be able to bring to Robert Saleh's defense. And I imagine, of course, Chris Kocurek had saying this, Robert Saleh had saying this, and that's what you give the leeway to Robert Saleh for, because he's one of the top defensive minds in all of football. So grade this pick of Mykel Williams to the Niners at number 11, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you're thinking about this down in the comment section right now. Our sponsor for this selection, for San Francisco, our friends at Mando. You can get $5 off the starter pack by using the code CHAT at shopmando.com. Full body deodorant where you get 72-hour odor protection. And what I love about it, especially after the passing of my mom due to cancer, I'm very specific about ingredients. It is aluminum free, which I think is absolutely awesome. Spring is in the air. The weather is warming up. I can't wait to get some runs in outside, go on some hikes, hang out by the pool, do some paddleboarding around some lakes, and have some summer beers. Go golfing. Enjoy the beautiful weather. So I'm looking forward to it even more because I've started using Mando whole body deodorant. Unlike other deodorants I've tried, it can actually handle anything. Safe to use anywhere on your body, your pits, balls, thighs, belly buttons, butt cracks, and feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando deodorant product options. They have everything. Solid deodorant stick, formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. They have spray deodorant, which is aluminum-free, ideal for hard-to-reach places, clinically proven to control that body odor. And 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10 before Mando. With Mando, it's a 0 out of 10. So if you want to try America's #1 whole-body deodorant formula right now, you can find it at Walmart, Target, and other retailers. But here's the deal. If you use the code CHAT, you get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates up to 40% off at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them that Chat Sports sent you. Stay fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando today. Just some more thoughts on Mykel Williams here. As far as his weaknesses, sometimes he doesn't have a consistent pass rush plan or arsenal to get to those secondary and third moves. Here's what the Athletic Stain Brugler said about Mykel Williams. More toolsy than nuanced and needs to develop a more unified pass rush plan. The individual traits, length, strength, explosiveness, promising toughness, and football character, however, are reasons to bet on his upside. Similar in ways, interestingly enough, to Jason Pierre-Paul. He projects as an NFL starter at that edge spot. The low-end tackle production is weird to me because it doesn't really match how athletic he is. He did play in a deep rotation. He only averaged 33.5 defensive snaps per game in 2024, 29.3 in 2023, 27.1 in 2022. And so if you use him more, you would hope that his production can go up a little bit. And given him playing 33.5 defensive snaps per game, here's what he did with that body of work. 21 tackles, 9 TFLs, 5 sacks, and 26 pressures. He was a 2-year starter at Georgia who played that jack edge rusher spot in Kirby Smart's scheme. Now, Brugler did have him as a first or second round pick and the 21st overall player on his board. But with those traits at number 11, sometimes you do take chances on players who are freakishly athletic. And one of the points of this show, the Niners defensive line. It is not good. They need to bring in players, talent, and improve the trenches up front. If this is their starting defensive line week 1, it's a bottom 5 unit in the NFL. And so Mykel Williams will have a realistic chance to start opposite of Nick Bosa, ahead of Yetur Gross-Matos and Sam Okuanu. Elsewhere on that defensive line, you have Evan Anderson, Jordan Elliott, and the former Defensive Player of the Year in Nick Bosa. That defensive line is not going to cut it throughout the rigors of an entire NFL season. And so the Niners go Mykel Williams with 11 here, and they damn well might go back and take a defensive tackle in round 2 because of how much of a need it is. And just the fact that they need to bring in and draft more players at that position. Some more thoughts on Mykel Williams. He did miss 2 games this past year and parts of several others because of a grade 2 high left ankle sprain. And so that was something that consistently nagged him throughout the 2024 season. And when you're that big and you're relying on that lower half and your ankle is killing you, you're not going to be your 100% self. And I imagine that could have factored in to the Niners' decision here. So how are we feeling here, ladies and gentlemen? Your one-word reaction to the Niners drafting Mykel Williams. I'm really not all that surprised. For me, potential comes to mind, projection comes to mind. Let me know down in the chat. And at the end of round 1, be on the lookout because I'll give you my Niners draft grades right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Don't forget to subscribe.